welcome to Mash on This, Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show that gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories today. I'm your host, Gail King, that was kicked out of Menudo, also known as Dory Greenberg. On Mash on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think is the best the internet has to offer. So be sure to tell us what you think in the comments. We'll get to them at the end of the show. Don't be shy. Now, let's get into it. How about we start with a game that's like super fun and not infuriating at all. Take a look at these two Time magazine covers. Can you tell which one is fake and which one is real? If you said the one on the left is real, then you might be KT McFarland, the Deputy National Security Advisor and one of the most powerful people in the White House, who not only thought this obviously fake headline about the coming ice age was legitimate, but also felt it was true enough to print it from the internet and hand it to President Donald Trump for review. And you know what's even more fun? This jolly act of printing out falsified media from alt-right blogs specifically for the president is a regular occurrence at the White House. We're all aware of Trump's penchant for rabid cable news and Saturday Night Live consumption, but not about how little he uses the internet, which, according to Politico, is not very much at all aside of using Twitter. So he relies on his staff to feed him a highly curated diet of praise-laden articles, likely from sites like Breitbart, and news from the cyber that his staff deems credible, which also includes fake news pieces like the very clearly photoshopped Time cover. So this is how the leader of the free world operates right now. Really cool times. Throughout the last 5 months that seem like 5 years, many of us have looked to comedians like John Oliver to not only deliver the news in a way that's digestible, but also ask the questions that many people with political power are too afraid to ask. During yesterday's episode of Last Week Tonight, Oliver took aim at the GOP, slamming its reps in Congress for failing to speak out against President Trump's firing of FBI Director James Comey. Take a look.
It is too easy to point at Trump being crazy. That's what he does. That is not going to stop, and it's going to be exhausting for everyone. The important question is, what do the rest of us do? And that brings us to Congress. 534 people less annoying than Ted Cruz, and also Ted Cruz. Because it is time for each and every one of them to pick a lane here. They do have options. Obviously, there are the investigations that are currently ongoing, but they could also press Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein to appoint a special counsel within the Justice Department. But at the very, very least here, they need to acknowledge that what has happened is up. The Founding Fathers created a system of checks and balances to limit the power of the president, but it only works if someone checks or balances. And if you don't, it's no longer on Trump, it's on you. Because when you've got the presidential equivalent of a 5-year-old shitting on the salad bar of a Ruby Tuesdays, at some point, you stop blaming the 5-year-old and you start blaming the people who are not stopping him. Stop that boy, that's what I'm saying. Stop that boy.
He and his writing team are just like so good at this stuff, but let us remember that we, the people, elect those members of Congress, and if they aren't doing what we elected them to do, then we must hold them responsible. Those midterm elections are mere months away, and even though every day feels like 1,000, we will get there eventually. If you pay attention to beauty pageants at all, then you know that the interview portion of the evening is always the most pivotal. The most memorable answers are usually the most poignant, or they're this.
People out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa.
Classic. But the most recent winner of this year's Miss USA pageant had a pretty controversial answer to the question, is affordable health care for all U.S. citizens a right or a privilege? Let's listen to her answer.
Why?
I'm definitely going to say it's a privilege. As a government employee, I am granted health care. And I see firsthand that for one, to have health care, you need to have jobs. So therefore, we need to continue to cultivate this environment that we're given the opportunity to have health care as well as jobs to all the American citizens worldwide.
So, For context, you heard the contestant from Washington, D.C., Kara McCullough, say that she's a government employee, but more specifically, she's a physical scientist at the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So she's literally a nuclear scientist. As you can imagine, her answer got a lot of people talking, and many people are saying that by emphasizing job creation, she's missing the point of universal health care, which doesn't discriminate against those citizens who are unable to gain employment for any number of reasons. A brief scan of McCullough's Twitter account doesn't really give a clear indication of her political leanings, since she's a fan of retweeting both Ivanka Trump and Michelle Obama. But what do you think about this new reigning queen of America's pageant circuit? Should we even be placing this much emphasis on the opinion of one woman in a ball gown? Let us know in the comments. Hello, there she is. Hey. Pornography has been around for centuries, but now in the digital age, it's readily accessible and available more than ever before. However, this is posing some problems, specifically for men. New research shows that excessive pornography viewing is likely to contribute to a risk of sexual dysfunction in men, but not in women. The Naval Medical Center of San Diego reported that while pornography trivially affects women's sex lives, an excessive habit can do some serious damage to men's psychosexual health, especially when it can make men disinterested in sex with a real-life partner. For more details on how this research was obtained, definitely read Cassie Murdoch's article about this on Mashable.com. And just a general PSA for all the dudes watching. Porn provides a fantasy, but you live in reality. And when you let your fantasy dominate your reality, you're basically playing yourself. Nothing compares to the real thing. Use porn in moderation. Now, for another form of intense technological pleasure. Video games. It's my Lana Del Rey impression. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Nintendo's Zelda series is headed for smartphones, and our senior games reporter Adam Rosenberg seems to agree. An unnamed source said that people familiar with the matter suggest that a mobile take on Animal Crossing will come first, later in 2017, and the Zelda game will follow, presumably before Nintendo's fiscal 2017 ends in March 2018. However, it was also said that scheduling for all of this could change for both the release timing and the order in which new titles arrive. The annual E3 trade show just weeks away, Nintendo is expected to focus on everything Switch, but it could also confirm the mobile Zelda game. We'll just have to wait and see. But do you think Nintendo will be making this big announcement? Let us know in the comments. So, excuse me, if I could get one of those inspirational cursive tattoos, I'd get "Don't tell me what to do" right here across my chest. It seems like anybody who is even slightly older and has it made feels compelled to lecture free-spirited millennials like myself. But I'm in my late 20s with 0 kids and 0 amount of farts to give. And the odds of me doing what you want me to do are also very, very slim, no matter who you think you are. So when Australian property mogul Tim Gurner went on 60 Minutes Australia and criticized young people's spending habits as the reason why they won't ever be able to buy a home, I was a little miffed. Here's the clip in question, and try not to let this guy's slicked back hairstyle distract you.
We are coming into a new reality where first-home buyers, second-home buyers, and a lot of people won't own a house in their lifetime. That is just the reality of where we're going.
So you think that young people have now got the prospect of never owning a home?
Absolutely, when you're spending $40 a day on smashed avocado and coffees and not working. Yeah, of course, absolutely. When I had my first business when I was 19, I was in the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning and I finished at 10:30 at night, and I did it 7 days a week. And I did it till I could afford my first home. And you know, there was no discussions around could I go out for breakfast or could I go out for dinner or whatever it was. I just worked.
So what you're saying is you're a bit more driven than some of the people in the current generation?
Look, I wouldn't say that they're not driven. I just think that the media and the current environment and lifestyle changes has definitely changed the next generation. I think it's very dangerous. I think it's dangerous for the economy, and I think it's definitely dangerous for their ambitions of owning property. And I think the problem with this generation is they want the 3-bedroom home in Melbourne and Melbourne East and Prahran and Alexandra and Sydney, and it's just not sustainable or realistic.
So what you're saying is our big cities, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane to a certain extent, We're almost becoming like European cities, where people may rent for life simply because they can't afford to buy in those cities.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're almost there now. I mean, I think people are talking about a housing affordability crisis right now. You wait 2 or 3 years when the shock and awe of the last 12 months of no supply, prices are going to jump again and they're going to continue to move. The only thing that gives me a little
But see, Gerner conveniently left out a few details about all the painstaking hard work that got him his first home. According to 9 News, Gerner had a helping hand from his grandfather in the form of money, specifically a little over $25,000 US. And that's a pretty solid financial starting point, one that many millennials aren't so lucky to have. So I'd like to talk directly to you, Tim Gerner, you self-righteous, hypocritical bro. Just because I'm a millennial doesn't mean I'm not saving my money. And if I want to spend some of my paycheck on fancy avocado toast and almond milk lattes, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. And some rich dude from Australia isn't going to make me, or even bizarre Australian me, feel bad about it. Because as Bobby Brown once proclaimed, it's my prerogative. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, everyone's talking, right, Sarah? In the comments, that's how the way I live. Ooh, ooh, Bobby. Oh, right. Oh, and one more story. Thank you. Wanted to plug this one in here because it's very upsetting. Yellow blush, yellow anything basically outside of your eyes. I don't understand why women want to look jaundiced. Are we trying to take back jaundice and make it beautiful? I don't understand this, but check out Rachel Thompson's article about it on Mashable.com. It's very silly. If you're trying this, I understand wanting to experiment and then promptly deciding that the experiment is over and then taking it off. So let's just stick to taking it off. You're beautiful. You don't need yellow on your face. It doesn't compliment anyone.